Watch this on demand class to discover how to feel free, how to feel sexy, how to feel at home in your own body, and also how to experience this delicious, soul fulfilling intimacy with your current partner or maybe with a new partner if you don't have one. And I'm Tarisha Tarok, and I've learned a lot on this path. But this class is all about you. So I'll just give you, 20 seconds information about why you should be listening to me. So I'm trained in Hakomi psychotherapy. I'm trained in emotionally focused therapy for couples. I'm trained in sacred sexuality and women centered coaching. And I've got two postgraduate degrees from the university in counseling and in psychotherapy. I love to study. And I love working with couples and individuals on helping them how to create more connection, more intimacy. And my favorite piece of work is group work with women because it's amazing how much women can shift, how much transformation they can experience to step from pain into pleasure when women feel supported by other women, when women start to feel like, oh, we're all the same. I'm not here by myself. Okay, and so now back into you, and I'll switch on to slides.
Okay, and now to the slides and to you, because I know that you are here for you. So, the problems you might be facing right now are that you might be feeling sexually dissatisfied. You might feel like you have to have to have sex to keep peace in the family. You also might feel like, you lack confidence and you don't feel sexy and attractive. You might feel like, oh, I'm just too old and, my time has passed. And the other problem I see that happens that sometimes women, no matter how old we are, we still might feel like a little girl, embarrassed and confused in the bedroom. And that's kind of quite disorienting. And so what I want to share with you, there are two important keys, right? And the key number one is that we need to accept the reality. And the reality is that your man will probably never give you a deep experience of sex that you are craving on his own accord. And key number two is that as a woman, you have an incredible power to experience deep sexual fulfillment, and you have the power to invite your partner into that experience with you. It's all in your hands. Yeah, so, right, if it's so simple, why it's so hard, right? And you might be asking yourself, but how do I do that? How do I connect to the beauty and power of my sexuality? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And yeah, we'll talk about how to fix all of these problems so you can have the soul fulfilling intimacy that you really know you sense is possible for you. And so the first step, we need to change our focus. So what I see usually, the focus is like, how do I get him to satisfy me? How do I get him to be a better lover for me? I wonder if you check in with yourself if you have these thoughts. And my invitation for you to change your focus to, how do I activate the delicious sexual energy in my body and then invite him to share it with me? Yeah, can you see how the change in the focus, that's what's going to give you access to the power? Because you have the power to change your sexual experience. And so you really need to embrace that key number one. Because what I see happens, we keep on waiting and we don't recognize our sexual power. We feel sexually dissatisfied, right? And think it's because of our partner. Only if she was a better lover, I would enjoy sex so much more. And well, this is only partly true because, of course, yes, men need to learn how to be better lovers, but we are sexually dissatisfied not because of how men are, but because we are not connected to the ecstatic sexual energy in our own body. And so we can't invite men to experience something different. And so we leave it up to them to show us a different experience of sex, and they keep on failing us. And then we get resentful or resigned. This is how it is and I just can't change it, right? But you surely can. And once you connect to the delicious sexual energy inside of yourself, you'll be able to invite your partner into a soul-fulfilling lovemaking. And it's really time, to stop waiting. and hoping, but really cause great sex to happen in your life. And how do I know this is possible? Because I have experienced it and I see how my clients do it as well. And I used to not like sex, it was something dirty, something I was supposed to enjoy and give to my partner. And then I traveled all around the world and I learned from so many teachers to realize the beauty of my sexuality. And now I just love sex. It's a really process for me now of making love in my body. When my whole body starts to vibrate with love, with joy, with pleasure, it's the process of increasing joy, of increasing connection, and experiencing expanded states of consciousness. And now I know that, how to invite my beloved into that experience. But I had to find that experience for myself first before I could invite him. And I had to remove the roadblocks that were on my way to experiencing this expanded and really pleasurable and amazing, love-making experience. And so right now, I'll walk you through the 5 steps you need to take if you want to experience this amazing, soul-fulfilling sexual intimacy. And if you want my help in identifying what's on the way of you activating your delicious sexuality, I'd be very delighted to help you. And my invitation for you is you can just schedule a call with me. And then together we can create a roadmap for you to experience soul-fulfilling sexual intimacy. And there's a button somewhere on this page, so you just need to click the button and we'll set up a quick call with you. Yeah, and the call is free of charge. So I'd love to talk to you. Let me know. Book the call. Okay, so these are the 5 steps, and I talk about them as 5 petals of the flower that you absolutely must have, right? All these 5 steps in order to enjoy the power and beauty of your sexuality. And so I'm going to tell you about each one and what it involves, and I recommend you take notes, because I'll share with you a lot of information in a very short time, and we'll be going for another only 30 minutes or so. So please stay present and take the notes. And I'll be giving you a 30,000 feet overview, so you have an understanding of what steps you need to take, right? And it's extremely valuable to know exactly what you need to do to create a different experience of sexuality for yourself. And because I don't want to take too much of your time and just keep on going, and I can talk about this subject for days and weeks, so I'll only share with you the essentials. So do please stay present, take notes, because it'll give you so much clarity. And so we go to petal number 1. And petal number 1 is to activate your potential. And what I see is that because we didn't have good role models, we don't even know what it means to enjoy this fulfilling sexual intimacy. And we have no idea what it means to be a sexually empowered woman. And I wonder if you kind of check in with yourself, if you had any role models, if you have an understanding of what it means. And so what we need to do is to step into what's really possible for us and stop settling for less than satisfying sexual interactions, right? And then we can connect to our desire. Then we can connect to our power, right? Because of course, who wants to desire mechanical, soulless sex, right? And if this is the only option we know, it makes total sense that we dim or completely disconnect from our desire, from our sexuality, right? And then we feel like, it's something we just do for our men, right? There's nothing in it for me. And so check in with yourself right now. What do you think is possible for you? And if what you think is possible for you doesn't excite you, doesn't kind of like, whoa, this would be amazing to have it, right? Then you will shut down your desire. You will shut down your sexuality. Because you really need to have an expanded vision, right? So you don't settle for less. And then that will draw you forward. Once you know what's possible for you, this vision will inspire you and it will give you motivation, right? To keep on going, to overcome any challenges, to keep on trying new things. And you really need to find out what being a sexually empowered, radiant woman means to you. And it's not, someone else's definition. It's actually, what does it mean to you? And so check in with yourself. What does it mean for you to be sexually empowered? And what difference do you feel it will make in your life? And what I discovered is that becoming a sexually empowered radiant woman affects every area of my and my client's life. Women experience more connection and love because they become effortless attractive, right? And they inspire their partner to cherish and support them. And they also start to feel at peace with themselves because they become friends with their body and they heal past hurts. And they experience more joy, more pleasure. They also become more confident at work. And of course, they start to feel healthier because they know how to look after themselves better. Okay, so now to petal number 2, step number 2. And what I notice is that we often lose that sexual spark because of past negative experiences. Right? When we have that inner critical voice inside of our head, it's impossible to experience our body as a source of joy and pleasure. And so our inner critic shows up in different ways for everyone. Sometimes it's harsh or nagging. It creates shame for who we are. It provokes guilt. It could compare us to others, and usually it leaves us feeling put down and bad about who we are. And it especially shows up when we try something new. For example, for me, it showed up heavily when I started to public speak, with comments such as, who do you think you are? You can't, and speak proper English. You're stupid. No one will listen to you. And so inner critic uses words such as never and always. You'll never be a radiant woman. You will always fail in your attempts to feel confident and sexy. I wanted to recognize that voice inside of you. Is this a familiar voice for you? Because I know most women have that voice quite loud. And so why is it important, right, to work with your inner critic? And the biggest thing is that inner critic makes us miserable. It makes us feel like we're not good enough and we never have an opportunity to measure up to that, perfect woman of who I should be. And also it takes us away from the present moment, and it really hurts the intimacy. It hurts playfulness, it hurts connection. Because imagine, right, when a woman goes on a date and she gets an attack from her inner critic that she's not attractive enough, a woman just doesn't have the capacity to connect and have an intimate conversation with her date because her whole energy is sucked up by the internal fight. And it happens so often I work a lot with couples, and it happens so often between the couples that they get sucked up into that inner critical voice and they totally lose the connection with each other. And in that way, inner critic keeps us separate and destroys relationships because we get so engrossed in our inner fight that we stop being curious about other people. It kind of makes people, in a way, narcissistic and makes intimacy impossible. It makes us keep our perceived shortcomings away from others. We hide our weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and thus it really keeps us away from other people. And also, when our inner critic starts to judge other people, we lose the capacity to be curious about other people and see who they really are and what's going on for them. It just closes our heart. And we stop loving. And it really keeps us stuck in our current circumstances because inner critic heavily attacks our impulse to do something new. It stops our growth. And it really keeps us stuck. So check in with yourself. Do you have that inner critical voice inside? And maybe notice, how does it affect you? Is it a familiar voice? Is it a loud voice? And so now let's go to the past negative experiences. That's part of the step 2 as well. And the past negative experiences, could be inappropriate, sexuality, could be sexual trauma. And these experiences often leave us feeling unsafe. And so it's really hard to feel sexy and surrender to love when we don't feel safe inside. And so shame and a feeling that I'm just not enough stop us from feeling relaxed and at home in our body. And this makes feeling sexy, right, and connecting to our desire really difficult. It's impossible. And as I said, the biggest problem I see that happens as a result of self-judgment and, past trauma, past negative experiences, is that women close their hearts and they disconnect from the power and beauty of their sexuality. So I want to check in with yourself right now. And are there any past hurts that are affecting you today? Do you feel safe in your body? And also notice how open is your heart. And yeah, so what you really need to do, right? If you feel like your heart is closed, if you feel unsafe, if you feel that past negative experiences keep on robbing you from experiencing the joy of being in the body, from the pleasure, then you really need to have a plan on how to let go of the past hurt. Because it's so essential if you want to enjoy wonderful sex, right? If you really want to enjoy being in the physical body, have the joy of being alive. And now we go to pedal number 3. And that's a really fun part, because after we release the shame and judgments, then we're able to awaken the beauty and power of our bodies. Then we can connect to our bodies. And this is the way to really deep, toe curling intimacy that fulfills you, that gives you pleasure. And the first step is to learn the art of listening to your body and discover what your body needs, right? So check in with yourself. Do you listen to your body? Or do you push yourself and trust your thinking more than your body? And that's a very important question. And with current culture, we trust our thinking, our head so much more, and we override our bodies. And your body has access to your inner GPS, but you need to reestablish that connection. And what I find happens when we focus on our to-do list and achieving, it's just easier to shut down our body feelings. Because feelings here, they do take time. And so bit by bit, we disconnect from our body so we can function better in the world. I wonder if you can relate to that. But the cost to this is that we lose the connection with our inner GPS, and we make choices that don't nourish us, and they reduce the amount of joy and love we experience in life. And I wonder, have you been cutting off from your body signals? And how has it affected your life? So the key here is to start listening to your body. And it does take time and practice, because if that connection is severe, right, it needs to be healed first. But that's the invitation for you. Check in with your body. Now, we're going to pedal number 4. And so pedal number 4 is how we actually really awaken the power of our sexuality. And first we need to connect to the wisdom of our bodies. And on that basis, we can connect to the radiant sexual essence and experience that ecstatic energy flow in our bodies, so that we can flip our desire switch anytime we want, and we can delight in our sexual energy. Right? And that's when we feel attractive and sexy in spite of any physical imperfections we may believe we have, right? And that will allow you to surrender to love. That will allow you to keep your heart open and experience delicious lovemaking. And so on this step, what's important is to learn sacred sexuality practices, to discover that fire within, to expand the fire within. And the sacred sexuality practices help us to connect to that fire within, regardless of how disconnected you might be feeling right now. And there are a variety of practices that I offer to my clients, and you can pick and choose your own. But what's important is that you establish a short daily practice, and there's no way around it, right? So I wonder, for you, what connects you to your aliveness and radiance? Can you feel your delicious feminine sensuality, or do you feel like it's completely asleep? And it's also, what's really important is to understand the true purpose of your sexuality, right? It's not for us to please others. It's actually our life. It's like our life energy. It's our vitality. It belongs to us, right? And when you realize that sexuality is yours, then you can begin utilizing that power on your own behalf. And what it really means is that knowing what you want and asking for it with confidence, with playfulness, right? It means enjoying meaningful and emotionally connected sex. And it also means speaking your truth, speaking what's right for you. Because this is how we start to feel relaxed and confident in our radiant sexual essence. We need to know that our sexuality is our creative power. And then when you connect to your essential feminine radiance, you realize that who you are is so much deeper and more powerful than you ever dreamt. And it's not just about sex. That's a big point I'd love to highlight here, right? Because we might think, sexuality is just sex, but actually it's our aliveness. It's actually about stepping into your full power. It's about unleashing your graceful confidence. It's also about becoming a great role model for your children. When you know how to take care of yourself, when you connect to your confidence, to your power, to your aliveness, you definitely will become a better mom. And there will be so much that your kids can learn from you just by who you are. Yeah, and it's also about enjoying vibrant health. Because once you're connected to your body, you know exactly how to nourish yourself. And then it's also about even creating greater success at work, because the confidence is so important for us to show up, to step, to expand our horizons, right? To step into our full power. Okay, and then we're gonna go as a final step, step number 5. It's very important to create your unique radiance map or your long-term practice plan that will guide you for days, for months, for years towards more radiance, towards more confidence and sexual fulfillment. And practice, as I said, is such an important key here. And it's important to have a practice that will allow you to anchor yourself in your daily body love lifestyle. And then you can face the body shaming culture. Because, everywhere we go, the body shaming culture is still right there. And we need to have the courage to be ourselves and fully express our light. And practice really can center ourselves and give us that confidence of fully expressing ourselves no matter what's happening outside. And in this way, then we can express ourselves in ways that are magnetic, that inspire others to support and cherish us. And then we don't have to struggle, right, with the lack of support, because we feel so connected to ourselves. We express ourselves with confidence, with vulnerability, and that's how we really create connection with other people. And also, with practice, right, you will start to enjoy the current of pleasure running through your body on a consistent basis. And you will start to appreciate the little sweetness, of simple moments of your life. When your life becomes this delicious play full of surprises, rather than a struggle and something that, oh, here we go again, I feel exhausted and I, have to push myself through that. But actually really connecting to that sense of aliveness, of sensuality, of delight, of being alive. And so these are the 5 steps, right? First one is to activate your potential. Second one is to release trauma, to release shame, to release judgments. Third one is to connect to your body wisdom. And fourth one is to activate the power of your sexuality. And the fifth one is to create a sustainable practice that will guide you, that will support you. And so maybe you can reflect right now, which part that you are missing, which part that you need to pay more attention to. Because this is so important, right? We can learn information, but actually when we implement, when we really start changing our lives, that's when, things get transformed. Not just from listening, but actually from doing, from implementing. And so here is my question for you. Was this valuable for you to know about these 5 steps? Right? Can you see where you need to focus? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to learn in order to enjoy blissful lovemaking? And if you did find this valuable, would you like some help with all of these steps? Because I know that, right, as I said, like one thing is to get information, and it's completely different thing to actually experience transformation and have an embodied experience of the power and delicious beauty of your sexuality. And so if you'd like some help, just click on the button somewhere on this page, and apply for a time to talk to me. And I'd be delighted to help you through that. And here's what we'll do on the call. I know that there's no one size fits all solution. We all have unique life experiences. Yeah, and so what I'm happy to do on the call is diagnose what your situation is and then help you identify your unique path to soul fulfilling sexual intimacy. Yeah, and for you, that could be really aligning with what's possible for you and seeing where you stop yourself. It could be that maybe you need to look at specific past incidences that you need to let go of. Or maybe it's actually how to connect your sexual energy to your heart energy. How to actually learn how to have the emotionally connected sex. And as I said, I have plenty of experience working with private clients, with couples, and with groups. And so I can quickly see where the problem lies for you, so you don't have to go round and round and keep on feeling dissatisfied. And I do believe that our life is way too short not to live in joy, not to live in connection. And so I'm here to figure out with you what stops you, what are your roadblocks, and what is your unique path to sexual fulfillment. And so during the call, I'll give you some pointers on how to overcome your particular challenges. And never forget you're unique, right? There's no one size fits all. But there are two slight catches to my offer of talking to you. And first is that I'm not good at working with women who keep on blaming their partners for lack of sexual fulfillment. I mean, yes, of course, right? Both parties are playing a role in the relationship dynamic. But I'm only interested in working with women who want to take their power in their own hands. Women who are done with, waiting for fulfillment to happen and are willing, actually, really willing to take the steps towards creating sexual fulfillment in their lives. And so if this is you, I'd be delighted to talk to you. And if you're currently in a relationship, it's great. If you're single, that's great as well, as I work with both, single and coupled women. But if you think I'll help you to change your partner, so please don't book a call because it'll be a waste of your time. I can't do that for you. And secondly, I will be personally talking to you to design your unique path to sexual fulfillment. And my time is very limited. And I've already got a full-time private counseling practice. So once I'm booked, I'm booked. And so if my message resonates with you, I invite you to apply as soon as possible to make sure I have time for you in my calendar. And so I invite you to click the button and let's get started, right? So please stop hoping, wait, and feel dissatisfied, because I know the power is in your hands to create this amazing sexual intimacy. And I've developed a system that helps you do just that. So if you want to get unstuck and done with feeling unfulfilled, just click the button and let me help you. And there's no cost for that conversation, yeah? And as confident as I am about being able to help you, I understand that number one, I can't really help everyone, right? I'm not everyone's girl. And number two, you might find me to be the wrong person for you, right? And that's totally okay. And so before you book the call with me, I just want to be really sure that this is the right decision for you, right? And that's why, I'd love to take a couple of minutes now just to go through the pros and cons of what we're about to do together. So, okay, let's say that you booked the call, right? And we end up actually working together, which, we might not, as I said, because I can't help everyone. And this call is free. And the purpose of it is to, number one, help you, right? And number two, if you find that valuable and want my help in transforming your sexual life, then we can work together further. Yeah, but there's no pressure, no strings attached. The number one goal is to help you. And so if you do become a client, which again, I'm not saying you will, right? Because first we need to find out if we're a right fit. But if you do become a client, one of the benefits of it will be that I'm trained in somatic psychotherapy. I'm trained in trauma-informed therapy and women-centered coaching. And it's a very important mix in removing the barriers that are holding you back. And I'm also trained in sacred sexuality, so we can design a powerful practice to activate your delicious sexuality, the practice that will work for you. And also my process is very thorough, right? It's a very important process, and I've worked with many women through that. and I try to kind of create the bigger picture and look at everything, all the details that you need to look at to create fulfilling sexual life. And what also helpful is that I meet you where you're at, and so we look at your unique life experience and your unique path to success. And another piece is that the community of women I work with is hugely supportive, and it will allow you to feel accepted and empowered. And additionally, you get a lot of personal help from me. So these are the props, right? And assuming we even work together, which who knows, maybe we won't. But this call is absolutely free, and you will benefit even if we don't work together further. And I'm not here to pressure you into anything, but to help you see the path to soul fulfilling intimacy in your life. Okay, and so now let's talk about the cons. I'll just have a sip of water. Okay, so number one, if we work together, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, right? It's not ridiculously expensive amount, but it's not cheap, and neither are you. And I know going on trips and dates and buying things, trying to find that spark again, is pretty useless. And so investing into activating the ecstatic energy flow in your own body is the only way that I know that works, time and time again. And so it's not a one-off skill. It will affect the rest of your life. And if we work together, right, it's going to take a commitment of time for you. And so that's very important. Do you have the commitment to prioritize yourself and your happiness? Because I know we can always find time for the things that we really value, that are very important for us. So before booking the call, you need to decide if you're willing to prioritize you. Yeah? If your fulfillment is important to you and you're willing to create time and space for it. Because a lot of people tell me, hey, this all sounds great, but I just don't have time. And what I'm really hearing is hey, I'm not committed to creating a more fulfilling life. And the thing is, right, in the event we work together, you will need 15 minutes each day for the practices, as well as time for, teaching and coaching calls. And if you're not willing to do that, I guess you need to learn to enjoy less than satisfying sex and resign to the idea of experiencing spiritual dimensions of your sexuality. And so when I hear people tell me they don't have time, or now is not the right time, my question back to them is, when will be the right time? How come you're willing to put your happiness so low on your priority list? And are those 15 minutes a day so precious that you're willing to sacrifice your happiness, right? And of course they're not. So I invite you to get started right away, because I know you're worth it, and I know it will mean so much to you. So please do book the free call with me to design your unique path. And only if you're committed, right? Okay, and then there's always the question of, what if it doesn't work for me, right? And who knows, maybe it won't. But what I'm really hearing when people say, what if it won't work for you, is people are wanting a guarantee that they will be successful. They might think like, yes, everything you've shared sounds good, but I'm not sure I can do this. Can you guarantee my success? But what I know is that life doesn't give guarantees. We have to commit and give our best, and that's how we can achieve what we want in life. Like, I don't think, Olympic champions go around asking for guarantees before they commit to training, right? Our commitment is what makes our dreams come true. And sometimes they don't, but at least we know that we've done our best, rather than regret never trying because we didn't have enough guarantees. So no, I can't promise you my process will definitely work for you, right? But what I can promise is 100% my genuine support. And so if you're ready to get unstuck, apply for a call, click the button somewhere on this page. And the thing is, that's why I offer a free call, right? Because we don't know what will work for you yet. And so I offer a free call to make sure we're a good fit. And also what I hear when people say, how do I know this will work for me, is that people either don't trust me or they don't fully trust themselves. And you know what? If I haven't earned your trust, right, please don't book a call. I don't deserve it, right? It means I haven't done my job well today, and you shouldn't waste any more of your time. But if you feel like, yeah, you do trust me, even if a bit, because I know if we just met, right? Then what I think you're really saying is this: I have self-doubt and I'm not sure I can actually do this. And I completely understand this because I felt the same way about, a lot of things. I've tried tons of things and I failed tons of times. And I know that at one point it's like, oh, I don't want to go through the pain of failing again. And here's a story I want to tell you that, might just help you. My parents immigrated to New Zealand when I was 17, and it was so horrible. Like, I got so depressed. I didn't want to wake up. Like, I couldn't speak English. I couldn't relate to people, and I felt like a complete outsider. And I felt like I lost everything. And so I became an accountant just to get by, to earn money and not to relate to people. But that felt so meaningless, and I suffered. Like, I started to have chronic back pain when I was 23. And I felt old, I felt useless. It was just horrible. But then something inside of me wouldn't just let me give up on my dream of living a meaningful life. And so I went traveling. I left my accountancy job and I retrained. And I constantly had to deal with the voice that said, oh, who do you think you are? You can't even speak proper English and you're trying to teach and help people. And still I persevered. And just now, working with a couple, that was our session, I think 15, it just really got me today because the wife was saying how amazing it feels to have this warm and fuzzy feeling in her belly when she looks at her husband, and how important he is to her. He's her rock, and she can't imagine life without him. And the thing is, right before starting our work, she was ready to divorce, and he already moved out of their family home. And it really got me because if I didn't believe in myself back then, and if I stayed working as a chartered accountant, just earning money, right, I couldn't have helped this couple and many other couples I work with. And also, I'm not sure if there would have been anyone to replace me. So let me ask you, right? If you had a time machine and could meet me the day I was thinking of leaving my accountancy job, what would you tell me if I was about to decide, oh, what a silly I did was like, who do I think I am? I should just stick to counting beans, right? Would you let me quit on myself, or would you encourage me to do my best? And I'm pretty sure you'd encourage me, right? And I'm here to encourage you. I encourage you to stand for yourself and believe in yourself. Because giving up without even trying is way more painful than giving your best shot and not achieving what you want. Because you can always get up and try again, using the lessons that you've learned along the way. And that my one decision, back then to leave my accountancy job and travel to find the way to feel good about myself and find meaning in life, it changed my life forever. Like, it changed me forever. And now the effects, the change that I'm bringing to life of my clients, of the people that, impacted by my work. And so let me ask you, are you going to let fear and self-doubt cheat you out of the future you sense is possible for you? Because I know you wouldn't be here otherwise, right? If you didn't believe that more was possible for you, you wouldn't be here. And so I'm here standing up with you. And I know you can do it. And I know it does take action. So yeah, let's get on the call and map out your unique path to feeling free, confident, and fulfilled. Because it's really enough of settling for less. And you deserve so much more. And you can experience so much more fulfillment. And I'll see you soon. And I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.